She just wants to run. Check this out. Falls back into idle nice. I'm 100% sure that the chrome air cleaner is why.
Welcome back to Tiger's Garage. This week we're back on Stinkbug, the 1950 Chevrolet. We're going to tidy up a couple things that we've been ignoring.
First things first, we're going to start easy. I'm going to go ahead and replace this ignition coil. Now, this is brand new, but it is externally resisted, which means we're giving a hot spark to the points every single time, and that's known to wear them out. So I have an internally resisted coil that we're going to swap in, and we'll just put this on the shelf for something else. That's a nice, easy project to start the day. Okay. New coil. It says right on it, no external resistor required. It's perfect. What we wanted. Because our ballast resistor is currently rusting off the firewall. Quick swap. I think this is honestly like for a tractor or something, but might start a little bit slower with this because this is going to resist it down basically to where the points get like 8 or 9 volts instead of the full 12. If I really wanted to, I could mount the coil where it's supposed to go, but I'm hoping this will slide back into my little zip tie mount that I got going on here. Oh, yeah. Fuel system is on the list for today also. I don't know if we're going to start there. Probably just going to convert this thing to an electric pump, honestly. But what I want to do first is address the choke cable. I bought a brand new universal choke cable. I think it's probably for like a Cub Cadet or something. And we're going to go around to the other side. This isn't stab us in the face. You see how she goes? Oh, yeah. Does that have a stop or will it pull all the way out? No, it'll go and go and go. But I believe this one's the choke here, and it is rusted. I need to try to figure out how to get this choke cable out of here and the new one in. I'm nervous sticking my head up in there. Spiders. Huh. I also learned my cowl vent doesn't work. That's this lever here, which we got to get that figured out because here's that I might have more room coming from your side. I had to swap sides on you so I could try to reach up here and okay, I can feel it. Any wild guesses as to what size? ½ inch. Oh, I got it with my fingers. Come on out. Okay. Okay. Oh, that's why it was this weird, like stamped steel nut. Man, I really should have looked at where this went through the firewall. Got the freshie here. Nut washer. Just gonna loop that for now. The washer and nut back on it. Pull this through and hope that this. Oh yeah, looking brand new. 2 things I forgot to do. First one is check how big this nut is. It's a 14 because it's from China. I also want to get a washer to back that up. Alright. Pull this out. I want to see if this little washer can work. Put an eye out. Yeah. Okay. Ow. Ow. So I know that's not really OE looking, but I didn't want to pull this cable through the dash when I tightened it, and it looked like I was gonna maybe have that opportunity. All right, now where's this go through the hole? Okay, it must go right there. I think I see where we're shooting. I'm gonna lose an eyeball. Now, if we did that right, yeah, there's a mile of cable out here. The choke needs to pull that way because when we pull it, we want it to be choked. So this actually, I'm gonna have to loop. It's gonna run something like that, and that's pretty ugly. We just may have to live with it. I'd imagine when you buy a factory cable, they're more appropriately sized. All right, so this is the little cable clamp-a-doodle for the choke, and then this grabs the sheath. Where did that go now? Okay, make sure that button's pushed all the way in, and then this is just dumb looking, but it'll be fine. Choking. Is that full choke? Pretty much. Okay, so this is advertised to fit. Seems like I was maybe lied to. So what we're going to do is we'll take it apart and modify it until it does what we want. You know, it fits really good in there. I wonder if I'll just leave it like that. It's supposed to fit around the outside, but I'd have to bend those out quite a ways. And then clamp them back down. But right now, it's like a perfect press fit in there. I was hoping it'd be bigger to hide this choke cable. I didn't realize I bought the 5-incher. I'm going to shove this baby down on there and we're going to leave it. This monster's going to make so much vacuum. It'll suck it right. Anyway. Now I know that's kind of stupid, but I did feel a little bit weird about this thing just sitting out here with an open carb. This will at least keep, I mean, I'll put the hood down when I go inside and stuff, but this will at least keep some of the junk out. It looks nice. So if you remember before, when we tried to run off the mechanical pump, it didn't pull fuel. But I swear I could feel the pump pumping. So I think what I want to do, both tanks are disconnected underneath there. I just was under there. So I think what I want to do is get all the fittings. For now, I'm going to get in here. I've already twisted this line almost all the way off. But I'm going to get in here and try to get, there's a line going back, which is cut off. That has a rubber hose connected to it, a little canister filter, which may be the problem. That might just be super plugged. And then this one that comes up and across that we're not using. I'm going to try to get all those off and just... There's that. Let me see. Is this hose actually connected to anything? Just leave it dangling. A Napa 3032. I wonder if there's any chance of... I really don't want to put my mouth on that, or I would try to blow through it. But now we've got our fuel pump. Inlets and outlets removed, fuel line removed. I may try to get this... I believe this little bowl thing comes off. Might try to do that. See if there's any like sediment or anything in there that we could see. So I think I've changed my mind again. I don't think I want to use this tank. But if we could use this tank, if it's in good enough shape, That would be nice because then I could leave this dry so when I have to cut and weld on it, I don't have to worry about it being full of fuel. And I could run off the tank. So what I have here is my little borescope camera. What we're going to do is straighten some of this out. We're going to shove it down in there and see if we can see anything at all. Uh-oh. Looks rusty, crusty so far. The fact that I can't get it all the way in the hole isn't helping. Can't really see anything yet. I guess the other thing to do would be just try it. Okay, here's plan B. Crawl underneath, pull the plug, see if anything comes out. This sat with no cap on it for however many years, so I can't imagine it looks great in there. Okay, so here's kind of how this works, as far as I can tell. This was a tank that has like this dip tube that goes down into here and then out and down. There's a line off the bottom of the stock tank. Those both run to a valve, which I believe is this valve right here, where you could like reach down and switch tanks. That valve's stuck frozen. My next plan is to lay on my back and just start cutting lines out of this thing and try to see if we can get something that's not a fuel jug for a fuel tank. Okay, so we're back underneath here, and first things first, this pipe here is the outlet from the stock tank that's behind the seat. That's the one we're going to try to use for a couple of reasons. The biggest being, I don't want to put fuel in the auxiliary tank when I know I'm going to have to cut and weld on the bed later. I would like that to be as free of vapor as I can. So we're going to use this one. So what I got is this fitting. It's a valve into a 90. Don't really care about the valve, although it does work. But what we need to do is screw this into here so it ends up in that sort of orientation, maybe a bit like that. And then we'll run line down along that frame rail up to the carb. So I think I get this screwed in here. I don't know if I'll get another one. I don't want to bust this off, but it'd be nice to get it good and tight. Even if it comes out like that, that's okay. I don't want to bust that stub off. So we're going to leave that like that. And then we're going to go 100% SFI approved soft line all the way up to the carb. And we're going to end up mounting our electric fuel pump probably somewhere down here. Maybe I can even pick up like these holes or something. We're going to pre-filter the pump. So we'll take the filter off that's up there because I'm sure there's junk in this tank. It ran pretty clear at the end yesterday, but I still want to put a filter before the pump. And I want to put the pump as close to this outlet as I can. So let me go take that filter off, grab my little pump, see if I can't get it here, and then we'll start stretching line. Okay, first things first, we're going to go ahead and get our hose connected here with the clamp. Everything you touch under here sends rust directly into your eyeball. And we got our filter. And we'll probably want the filter like here-ish. There's a hole there that I could put a zip tie in, so I'm actually going to shoot for that. Filter. Oh, that's going to be it. Tight. Okay. So that'll go like that. Zip tie that up there. We'll go short out to a fuel pump. Okay. So this is our fuel pump. It's the same one from the board. I think we're going to mount it like here. So we'll do a short section of hose from the filter to the pump. There's fuel in this filter and it's going to drip onto me. I'm sure of it. Pump's going to go here. Move that off. Okay, that's going to go there. If I could find a small bolt, this will go up here towards where the electricity is. All right, that's basically what we're thinking. Then we're going to come out of here and snake our way up to the carburetor. Kind of following the path the factory lines did. Can't forget I still need to tighten that. But for now, we're going to shove this up that way above the frame rail. Okay, now we got a whole mess of fuel line to untangle. Created some sort of knot that I've never seen before. See, we got plenty of length, so I'm gonna be generous with my cut, but try to get some of this out of the way. Then we can reroute a little nicer. So come under this battery cable. That way it can kind of follow just the frame right there. We'll come up. Take all the twist out of this. Yeah. We'll come up and over into there. You know, I could even do something like that, which I think that's for a heater hose, but I don't hate keeping it up like that. And I could find a bolt for this clamp here and do this. It kind of pinches it a bit, but not bad, really. Let's do that. I dropped that screw, but it's probably... That's done. So I think what I'm going to do now is a couple things that I've been wanting to do for a while. First of all, I'm going to find a bolt or a screw for that. Then I'm going to try to build a bracket, I think, and move the coil where it's supposed to go, which is up here. And then I want to pull the ignition switch out of the dash, figure out how it works, and wire both the fuel pump and the coil hots, the positive on the coil, to that. So when you turn the key, you got battery power, and there's no more of this hot wire clipping type stuff. So let me start here, and then we'll see if we can't fit under the dash and get that switch out. I can just kind of shove that in there. It'll preheat the fuel a little bit. The only quarter 20 I have a bunch of these flathead ones, which is going to look a little goofy, but it'll be all right. They're also probably like really long for this application, but it'll give the illusion of holding this clip in there. Yeah, perfect. Got this piece of aluminum strap, 1 inch. My plan is to use it for the coil mount. So I got the old coil in the garage. I think we'll go in there and we'll try to find a piece of pipe or something and bend this around it. And then maybe just like some Gorilla Tape or something so it's not so slippery. And then we'll try to suck the coil up in there. Okay, so the coil measures about 2-inch outside diameter. I found this old piece of galvanized pipe, which is just under 2. So I think I'm going to use it as my bend. So what we're going to try to do is put a nice radius in this, something like that. And then we'll put the old coil in, mark it, and bend the ears out, leave it long, go mark it, and then drill some holes. This is the old coil here. See how she fits. Oh yeah, that's going to work just fine. And hopefully it'll sit like that. Okay, so we're like here. Isn't going to bend super tight. So we'll do one there. Come straight across from it. And we'll do another bend here. Uh-oh. Well, bummer. That's the problem with aluminum, I guess. Should have probably heated it up a bit to go full 90. That was going to be perfect too. Okay, so here's what I came up with instead. Same chunk of aluminum strap, the hose clamp attached to it. Coil will slide in here. This will bolt to the block. I may have to probably have to trim this little nub out. So let's go do a test fit, and then if we need to come back and cut that, we can. All right, so there's actually a little depression here in the head casting, which means we don't have any interference. As long as we drilled our holes in the right spot, this should bolt right in. And we should be able to slip this little guy out of his homemade zip tie holder, flip him around, and drop him right in there. That wire is plenty long, but that's all right. Okay, fuel line's done. I feel happier that that's like that. I guess we got to try to get under the dash of this thing and see if we can't make the switch work. This here's the ignition switch. I need to try to get it out. It's going to involve me putting my head under there if I can see what's going on. Oh, okay. There's an ignition switch. That's a wire. It's got, okay, they go up there. I would like to undo all of that. There's Phillips screws. I wonder if I can get those out. Whoa. Okay, I got the one screw out of the easy side. I think I'm unscrewing something. I can't see if it's the right. Oh, it looks like it is. Okay, let me climb out. Pull the key out. Okay, there's that other screw. Probably gonna need it. There's the switch. Okay, now I want to unhook all the other wiring. Okay, this side has even less room. There's 3 terminals on this thing. One's got to be battery. Oh, that one coming. Fixed. Okay. Okay, what we're going to do now, we'll take this back to the shop with our multimeter. We'll figure out what each of these terminals do. See if we can't get this loose or cut it off. And then we'll have to run some wire and rewire just the fuel pump and coil and battery. So the issue is I cannot get this screw out of this terminal. It's trying to twist the whole thing. I wonder if I can't slice the head of that off or something. It's really rusty and corroded. I'd like to try to save this switch. So I think I'm going to try to come in here, zip the head of that off, and then maybe I can get the bottom out. That was aggressive, but it worked. Continuity check. Beep, beep. Okay, so key on, I have continuity there. And there. Key off. I've got nothing. So this switch looks like it's pretty simple. When it's off, they're all these terminals are isolated. When it's on, they're all connected, which that tells me if I run the battery to one of these the fuel pump and the coil to the other. When I turn this switch, everything's grounded. The coil is, we know that. The fuel pump will be. It's right next to that negative cable. Battery's grounded. So I think it'll work. So, okay, so I think what we're going to do is ignore this terminal with the bust off screw in it. It's not in great shape anyway. We're going to clean these up, and then we'll do one for the battery. So we'll build a long wire, and then we'll build two off of this one for coil and fuel. These like ring terminals. I think I got some the other screws out there. These would thread in. This first one will be the battery. It'll go here. Okay. I'm going to leave a bunch of length. Doesn't actually have to go that far. The wire's pretty cheap. Do that. Okay. Okay, for the other one, we're going to do 2 leads off of that. We're going to just use brown because it's have it open and it doesn't matter. All right, rack out here. A whole mess of wire. I don't know which way is up. So we're going to shove this back up in here. For now, I'll just loop this wire kind of there. We're going to try to get it reattached with these Phillips screws. Again, I'm screwing something in. And it's turning. Is it the right thing? I don't know, man. It's tight now. Oh. It's pretty much in the hole. It's going to work for us. Now we got to run. Wow, I made those long enough. So I think my plan is, this is the positive battery cable, and it's got this auxiliary in it. So I'm going to tap 12 off of that. Then I got to run one of these up to the coil and one back to the fuel pump. And I'm going to ground the fuel pump the same way on the auxiliary from the cable. So let me figure out wire routing quick. It's not going to be pretty getting down to here. Is there a hole in the firewall I could go through? That was a silly question. There's so many holes. But is there one over here? This has to go to here, basically, and this one's got to go back to here, and there's no, like, carpet to hide it under. So, we could probably tuck these, like, let's try that. Around the heater box. At least try to kind of keep it from dangling too much. That one will go there. Around the heater box. This one's headed back to the fuel pump. Okay, so we got the battery set in here, about where we have to run it. I do want to leave this long, because eventually I would like to put a battery in this hole, so I'm going to stick it right up there. What we'll do is we'll strip this one, we'll crimp it in there. That'll be 12 volts to that switch. Okay. So this one's done. Now we're going to go into the engine bay, cut that other brown, and we'll disconnect this. We'll cut that other brown, we'll hook it up to the coil. Okay, so this brown wire is coming out of here, and it's only got to get to right there. So we'll snip this. And a ring terminal that fits over that. That one does. Okay, so the coil is taken care of. Now we have to climb underneath and deal with the fuel pump. It comes with a connector that plugs into it. So red will go to our brown, and black we're gonna run back up to the negative post of the battery. That way it's on a connector just in case we ever need that. All right, so we're back underneath this hot rod. This is the connector I already crimped. There's some butt connectors to it. This is our power. We'll probably like zip tie this up. There's a hole right here. So we actually might do this number. So we got to get from this brown to that red. We'll leave it a little bit long, but not too much. And crimp that in. Oh, almost just dropped my pliers on my face. Okay. Now we're powered. And then for this black, we're going to grab a different color because I don't have any black. We'll come out of here. We're going to run forward. And we're going to tie into that same accessory post, or the accessory little takeoff on the negative cable. So it'll have a fuel pump will be grounded directly to the negatives. We'll go white. That's what I have out. That way no one besides me can ever work on this. Which I don't think is a big concern. Plus this is all kind of temporary anyway, right? Okay, so there we go. Grounded. Now we need to head up. Actually, don't need to go far. Our battery box is right here. So let me just peel off a little bit of this. This is going to snake. We're actually going to go back up over the top like we did. Coming in. That will be that. We'll put a zip tie right here, and it's going to be perfect. All right, so this is our white, which is a ground, which is going to tie in directly to right there. So we're going to give this a snip there-ish. Okay. All right, so here's the deal. If I connect positive and negative battery and turn the key, we should hear that pump run. Okay, battery's connected. Quiet on set. You hear that? It's pumping. And it shut off. Perfect. I think what we're going to do is make sure we don't leave any tools in the engine bay. We're going to put 5 gallons in this tank, check for leaks, and then see if this thing will fire up off the key and the foot switch. I reused the locking gas cap from this for this, which means these keys are all of a sudden important. Now they start the truck and open the fuel cap, maybe. So here's my plan. I got like 5 gallons of 87. I'm going to dump a little in and then poke my head under there. Make sure it's not all leaking out. If it looks all right, then we'll put all of it in. Not dripping yet. Let's put more in. May as well go for it, huh? This will be fun if it clogged again. And now I got 5 gallons of gas to take a bath in instead of the 1. But you'll never know until you try. I guess. Get all the rust nice and wet. So it plugs that filter immediately because I only have 1. Hopefully this tank doesn't have holes in it. No leaks. Well, that's good. Let's turn... Oh, I need the keys, see? Let's turn the fuel pump on. See if it pumps. And then we're going to dive under... Ow. See that? We're going to dive underneath and see... We got fuel. You see that? We also got some rusty chunks in there. It should deadhead when it fills the bowl. And the tone will change. No leaks there. My custom fitting. All right, let's go look at the carb to make sure it's not gushing out the vent. No? Okay. We're going to hop in and see if it won't make some noise. God, it's tight in here. Neutral. Oh, there we go. That's so annoying. You might want a little choke. Remember we put that in. Come on now. Oh yeah. Just gonna sit there and idle. What a good old truck. Better go check for leaks. Sitting there idling 40 pounds of OP. Oh, it didn't like that. She's snappy. It's probably good for it. I think we're just going to let it run a little bit, but maybe. Basically, this means we have power to the coil, obviously. Power to the fuel pump. And that internally resisted coil is working. I'm going to let it run just a bit, but the only thing left to test is I want to flip this switch and make sure it actually shuts off. It'll shut the fuel pump off, but it should also shut the coil off. I should put a gun in here. Got the rack for it. Shut off. Yes, indeed. Wow. That worked out exactly like it was supposed to. Which doesn't happen. And it's pulling from the tank. Okay. This is great news, but it's also a little bit of a bummer because it means we need to work on the brakes. But first things first, let's dive back underneath and look at that filter. and see how much shit's in it. Oh, that's a lot. All right, keys are important now. Bop, in gear.